Now once we have this database table, I'm going to add some dummy records inside this first. So I'm going to right click on my table and I'm going to click on Show Table Data. Visual Studio will allow me to add some dummy records with the help of this thing. I'm going to add some records like this. Now once I have two dummy records inside this, we are going to quickly connect this database table with the MVC application which we have created in earlier videos. This will be very similar to a normal SQL database connection with the MVC application. I'm going to right click on my models folder of my MVC application and we are going to add a new model. Because I want to keep this thing very simple in my beginning videos, I'm going to use area.net entity data model, which is my pure entity framework. I'm going to click on add. I'm going to select that I want to generate entity framework designer from database. This will connect with my server-side connection, which is the only connection of my Visual Studio right now. And you can see here it is specifying that do you want to exclude the sensitive data like username and password in the connection string, or you want to include that. We can specify both, depends upon the security level what we want. I'm going to select that yes, include the sensitive data. I don't care because anyhow this will be my cloud and I'm the one who's going to host everything on that. I'm going to click on next. It's giving me an option from where we can select our tables of the database. Inside this database we have only one table, which is EMP. We're going to checkmark this and then we are going to click on finish. The moment I do this, this will actually internally do one process by which it's going to create a new connection string inside the web.config file of this application. Once this process is done, you will get this kind of warning. So just check mark, do not show this message again and click on OK. On the successful completion of this, you will get an entity framework model with that particular table entity inside that. If you check the proper connections of this application inside web.config, you can see inside a web.config file of this project, we have a new connection string with the name mytempdb1 entities, and this is actually connecting to your cloud service provider with that particular server name and with the proper username and password which we have specified. All these things are automatically driven by area.net entity framework and we don't need to waste our energy inside that. Once we are done with this, my model.admx file is my model of this application. I'm going to build my solution just to check we are not having any issues inside that. And the next thing is we need to get the data from the table. For that, I'm going to my home controller.cs, which is a simple C# controller of MVC, and we are going to specify one namespace using my project name, which is firstweb.models. This models is having my data access layer class inside that. The name of the data access layer class will be always my database name plus entities. So I'm creating an object of that. Let me give a meaningful name to the object. I'm giving db equals to new entities, and inside this particular C# class, if I want to access the data from that table, all I need to do is db dot, and I'm getting one object which is a generic collection of my employee table. This EMPS is going to return all the records from my employee table. So quickly I'm storing this thing into a variable. Suppose the name of this variable is model data, and whatever is coming from this EMPS, we are going to store that thing inside this model data. And finally, when I return a view, I'm just going to pass this model data object inside that. It's very simple. Quickly getting all the collections of records from employee, storing that thing into variable, and passing that thing to my view. Because I'm dealing with the index action, this is that action which is connected with my home page, which is index.cshtml. Right now, this index.cshtml is having the dummy content which we have seen when we have run this application earlier. I don't want this. I want list of records inside this. So I'm going to right click on my index.cshtml page, which is an empty, which is a dummy page. So I'm going to click on delete. I'm going to click on OK, and you can see this dummy page is now deleted. We are coming back to our C# code, and for this particular index action, I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to click on add view. I hope you guys are familiar with these steps if you have worked on MVC. Otherwise, you can use a normal ASP.NET application also. The name of the view will be index. The template for this, I want a list of records, so I'm selecting list. And then we have to specify that the table with which we are dealing is employee. That will be my model class. And the data context class which is associated with this will be my database name plus entities. If I click on add, Visual Studio is going to create a new home page inside this home folder with the same kind of name, index.cshtml. And this one is going to have a table section for all the records of my database table. Let me quickly run this in my browser, which is at local. You can see it's again running in the localhost port number. So this application is running at the client side, not at the server side, but it is having a connection with my server side database. You can see I have two records which are stored inside my cloud database. I'm going to click on create new, and you can see it's not having any logic for inserting a record. That's why it's showing an error. If we want, we can do that also, but we'll do that thing in some future videos. Right now, quickly, I want to deploy this application to my cloud. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to stop this project. I'm going to right click on my first web project and I'm going to click on publish. I hope you remember that earlier we have already deployed this thing to our server with the help of that publishing profile. We don't need to do this thing again. The only thing is we need to again click on publish. This will start deployment of this application, and after certain moments this will deploy that thing successfully on that server. You can see this time most of the things are same. So quickly this is deployed on the server. It's showing me my browser with that server side URL, and if we wait for some moment, that these new changes are affected in my first web app 01234.azurewebsites.net. I'm having the records of that particular server side database. Again, to check all these things in my cloud portal, if I come back to my Azure portal and if I click on all items, you can see now I have a new database with that web app. This web app is internally using this database inside which we have that one single employee table. I hope you guys are able to understand all these things. This is my older URL. If I refresh on this, it's again going to show me the same kind of thing. I hope it's pretty much cool. Thank you.